All right, it says I'm live. There we go. I think I got it. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to give people a couple minutes just to pop on. I'm running a little bit ragged today, so I apologize about that. But you guys, it's just me like I normally am. So what's different? I'm trying something new. Hi, Mom. Hi, Nicole. If I keep looking down, it's because I have two systems going here. Melissa is out of state, and I tried to tell her that it didn't matter, that she could still help me out, but it turns out she had plans for dinner or something. So how dare she? So I have my laptop here, and I'm going to try and be my own Melissa. Deb is here. She's hanging out in the background, keeping me company, and probably will throw some yarn at me if I can't reach it. Hi, Joyce. Participating, not listening, but not participating. Yes, do major knitting on your socks. Hi, Julie. This stuff is showing up way faster on the computer than it is on my phone. So, I'll get it figured out. Oh, you guys are saying hi faster than I can see. Hi, Holly. Hi, Bonnie. Julie, Kathy, hi Kathy. Julie, she apparently said she doesn't care what you think. Bonnie, thank you. We're gonna chat about my sweater in a minute. Uh-oh. Ah! Close. You guys I might lose you for a minute because apparently my phone battery is gonna die. And I don't have a battery pack thing. I do. Do ya? Yeah. See, that's why Deb's here. This is a good thing. Can you pull the one from the iPad? Will that work from over there?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a cord with me.
You don't have a cord?
No.
What kind of cord do you
iPhone.
I don't have
Yeah. Okay, you guys, if my video goes away, just be patient with me and it'll come back. I've been doing a lot of running today and apparently using my phone more than normal, so that's okay. I'll make it work. Deb's trying to get me a charger so I can plug my phone in. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Marcina. Hi, Bonnie. Bonnie, yes, okay, that's where I was before. Hi, Chandra. Hi, Celeste. Hi, Sherry, Tammy. Oh, I got a whole bunch of you guys on here. I love it. Awesome. Thank you. Haha. We talked about how awesome those little battery chargers are. Okay. Hopefully you guys don't lose me now. So, good evening. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I am the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. Business hours are 10 to 6, Wednesday through Saturday. Today is May 17th. I keep forgetting. I shouldn't keep forgetting because tomorrow is my husband's birthday, and I keep forgetting about that too. So if you guys have any good ideas for last minute guy gifts, send them my way. Hi, Tammy. So as I was saying when I first started, Melissa is priorly engaged today, so I'm trying to be my own techie person, and as I talk about patterns, I have to look at my other computer to copy and paste things. But let's get started. We will, let's see. Talking about what I'm wearing, Bonnie commented on my sweater. So last week we talked a little bit about summer sweaters. I'm not gonna go into that a whole lot this week because I want to focus on talking about Marie Green's knit along that's coming up. So, but I figured I can keep wearing summery sweaters and talking about them. So this one is called Sienna, S-I-E-N-A. One moment and I can give you guys the link to it. It's originally knit out of a linen. What I used was Hempathy. Did I bring one of those over or did I not? Apparently I didn't. Hempathy is a really cool yarn. It's a lot of people use a linen or a linen blend. Hemp acts kind of similarly in that it's got some structure, but the longer. Thank you. Deb's my little behind the scenes Vanna White today, without the flare. So Hempathy. Oh, and I was supposed to figure out how to turn things so you guys didn't see things backwards, but next week when I'm not so flustered. I also forgot my keys at home, so it was even better that Deb was here to let me in my own shop. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Mary Kay. Okay. You guys will have to let me know if I popped away for a minute. Holly says hi, Deb. Tina says hi. I tried to talk her into coming over here, but she wants to just stay behind the scenes. We'll get there. So Hempathy, cotton, hemp, and modal blend. This is a really cool orange color. I'm low on colors right now, but I can always order, and I do have solids. But what's cool about this top is it's done in 2 pieces, front and back, from the bottom up, and you change needle sizes just about across where you would separate for your arms. So you just get a different look. You get bigger needles, smaller needles. Because I don't have a lot of it in stock, and because I really think this would be a good option, and apparently Karen was talking about it this weekend too. Roslyn. Hi, Debbie. Oh, all the girls are saying hi to Deb now. Roslyn is a really cool yarn. It looks like a cotton silk blend, but it's actually merino. Well, it's wool and silk, and it's got a similar drape to the Hempathy. Pretty straightforward if you're looking for a pattern that's just straight stockinette from the bottom to the underarms. That's what you've got. There are a few little increases. I like the little shoulders on it. And you're not picking up and knitting any sleeves. It's just because you're building it out, which I think is kind of cool. It does have some short rows once you get up to around the collar. But, so that's a sienna. That's what I'm wearing. I finished nothing. I have nothing to show for my finished projects. I was really hoping to get those crocheted mitts done, or at least one of them. And I had to rip out the palm part because I thought I was being all smart and using a different stitch than what they called for. And I wasn't, and it didn't work. So I had to rip that out. So hopefully next week I will have a finished, at least one of the spikelet mitts to show you guys. But what I have been working on that I can show you is my curly Q blanket. It's growing. I got fuzzies in my mouth. I am on section, I think I'm on section 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I'm on section 6. What I'm really enjoying is once I see what the pattern's doing, I don't have to keep looking back. My mom is using Knit Companion to keep track of where she is, and that seems to be really working well. We are here for you if you make a mistake, and I'm getting practice at that and getting better. I'm not great at it. As many things as I'm great at fixing, this is not one of them, but I'm getting better. And you guys know that Deb is here on Saturdays, and she's really good at it. She's not giving me too much of a mean look in the background. So I'm using 2 different yarns. One is Juniper Moon Cumulus. They call it rainbow because it's a slow color changing yarn. So this dark that's over here is the same skein. Then I'm using Cumulus Dappled for the center part, which is more subtle, just kind of a speckly wave color. Lisa, blanket so pretty, love the colors. Holly using Knit Companion for it on section 4. Oh, good, you're making progress. So that's what I'm working on that I can show you guys. What I'm working on that I cannot show you guys is the 4-day, I never quite know the order in which to say the name of it, but Marie Green, who is also known as Olive Knits, hosts a 4-day knit along, she calls it. It's always a sweater. This is her 5th year doing it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a sweater that you knit in 4 days. The whole point of it is to challenge yourself, and that's how it started, was with her challenging herself personally, and then people liking the idea and wanting to go with it. So this year, and I can't tell you guys a whole lot about it because she releases things in parts. So today she announced to the public the name of the pattern and a little bit of the theme, which is fireworks. And I'm sorry, it's gonna be backwards, but you can still see how cool it looks. And what I love, and I didn't even realize it, is that my yarn coordinates with her little picture. So the pattern's called Fireworks. It is a pullover sweater. All the sweaters she has done for this so far are I think they're all top down, but they're all seamless. Yes, Deb's saying yes. I've knit 2 of them, but I haven't knit them all. I haven't knit the 1st or 2nd years, but they're really, one of the things I like to tell people is if a pattern is designed to challenge you, but be possible to knit in a short amount of time, like a 4-day sweater, you know she's not going to put a lot of really, really complicated things. Like the soundtrack from last year had some slip stitches, but it wasn't stranded color work or anything like that. Hi, Diane. So I can tell you that this year it's a pullover, seamless, top down. I don't know what I can tell you about the yoke, but it's not raglan. I can tell you that much. It's not raglan sleeve increases. Diane, is this the sweater you couldn't tell us about? Not the one I'm wearing, but the one I'm talking about, yes. Bonnie, knitted the sweater for the last 2 years. Me too. So, Lisa, yes, the dates. So today I can talk to you about yarn, sweater sizes, gauge. Oh, there's her little thing about the alternate gauge right on there. Needle size, fit. On May 28th, she is going to put the pattern on Ravelry for pre-order. So she typically does, her patterns are $10 on Ravelry. She'll do a pre-sale and they're $9 discounted. You can order those through the shop as well, and I get a little bit of a bonus for doing that. Plus it really helps designers know where the traffic is, where the people are who are buying them, and it helps me in the future in trying to work with designers for them to see that I have sent business their way and promoted their patterns. So May 28th, the pattern comes out on Ravelry for pre-order. I cannot show you guys the sweater until June 7th. I know that's like 3 weeks away from now, but I'm hoping to have it done so I can show it off by then. We'll see. If you join her knit camp, the pattern is free. Oh, I didn't know that. I knew she did different things and gave you guys a sneak peek, but I didn't know it was free in there. Knit camp's not free, but the pattern would be in there. So the actual knit along is the month of July, July 1st through July 31st. And she has kind of Marie will do a Facebook Live on the 1st as kind of a cast on party. And she'll explain more in that, but you don't even have to knit the sweater 4 days in a row. You can work on it a little bit. Just in order to participate for the prizes that she's doing officially, and we'll probably do some stuff here. I just haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do yet, because I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. But so let's talk about yarn. She calls for a gauge that is a little bit looser than what you would normally see. So she calls for a DK weight yarn and size 6 needles, and getting a gauge of 20 stitches over 4 inches. What did I do with my swatch? Oh, there it is. So I showed this a couple weeks ago, my swatch. Celeste, the designer's name, Marie Green. Olive Knits is her design name. I've got my other computer here. Let me pull up her Ravelry page real quick, and I think I can give you guys a link right to that if Facebook doesn't get too mad at me about it. So give me just a second. Copy. If you missed it earlier, Melissa's not here, so I'm having to do my own copying and pasting today. She's so much more on top of that than I am. So yes, Marie Green is the designer. Ease we talked about a little bit last week. She says this pattern, you should pick the size that gives you about 2 inches of positive ease. So you would pick the finished sweater that's 2 inches larger than your bust size. If you are unsure, one of the things that we've recommended is finding a top in your closet that you like the fit of. And you can lay it out, measure across the bust on that, and get a pretty good gauge of the size you want your sweater. She doesn't give you typical sizes. Her sizes are numbered 1 to 9, but the finished sweater measurements range from 30 inches up to, well, this one says 59, but I thought my other one said something different. And now I don't know where that note is. That's the alternate gauge. Okay, here we go. If you get 20 stitches over 4 inches, you could, the sizes go from a 33.9 inch to a 64.75 inch. So that sizes 1 through 9. Because the gauge is a little different than what people are used to, she does say if you got a gauge of 22 stitches over the 4 inches, you could knit, you could choose your size, but use the bust circumference anywhere from 30 to 59. So I think that's kind of interesting because she must have gotten some feedback already that it was difficult for people to get the gauge that it called for. Which must be true because I actually got gauge on the needles that she calls for, and that very rarely happens. So the swatch I talked about a couple weeks ago, but I'll show it again. This is the yarn that I'm using. Look at how squishy it is. So squishy and stretchy. So I swatched on 4s, 5s, and 6s. I got gauge on 6s. The yarn is Harvest DK, and it's backwards, and I'm sorry, by Earth. And we talked about this last time, the difference in dye lot. And I have some really cool tricks to show you guys about that. Once I could show you the sweater, I really decided to embrace the fact that the test skein I got was a different dye lot than the bag that I actually ordered for my sweater. So Harvest DK, what's cool about this yarn is every color is a natural dyed color. That also affects each batch in a big way. I mean, natural dyes are natural dyes. You sometimes don't know how they're going to react to things. This one is cranberry, and it's this really pretty coral. Then we've got Rubia. It's this kind of a bricky red. It's red, but it's kind of an orangey red. It doesn't matter. They just throw them at me. Green. I love this green grape leaf. And they put little pictures on there too of what it is. I'm sorry, you guys. My nose is so itchy. Okay. I'm handing off one way and grabbing the other. Oh, there's one there too. This is indigo. So each of these has 300 yards in 100 grams. And so in figuring out how many you would need, depending on your size, is anywhere from 4 skeins up to 5, 6, 7, 8 skeins, depending on your size. So with this yarn at $26.50 a skein, you're looking at $106 up to $212, depending on the size that you do. I was going to say something else about that too, but I don't remember. This is black grape. This really cool deep burgundy color. Oh, my colors are looking pretty good this time. This beautiful mustardy yellow is buckthorn. I really wanted to use this color for mine, but I guess I can tell you this because it doesn't really reveal anything, but the pattern photos are done in kind of a mustardy yellow color, and she does hers with a tweed, and I don't have anything against tweeds, but I wanted to use a little bit something different than what she has. And I try and pick a color that's different from the designer's photos so you get a visual of a couple different ideas. Holly, my husband is listening. He's put earbuds in so he can't listen. She said his heart skipped a beat a little bit at the price. Bonnie, the yarn composition, it is 100% extra fine superwash merino. So 100 grams, 300 yards. What's really cool about this yarn is, like I showed you, it's so squishy. And that's because of the plies. There are a lot of plies. I don't know if we can see this. Probably not. It's not going to show you. But we'll talk about that sometime too, plies. So this one is, that was buckthorn. This one is cinnamon. This was my other thought that I might do this color, this rusty orange. And I will post a photo afterward of the different colors, and I'll probably use photos from their graphics so I make sure the colors are accurate. This beautiful brown is walnut. And a couple more. This one's mint. It's gray. You wouldn't think mint would be gray, but it is. There's no green in it. It's kind of a bluey gray, slatey gray. Beautiful. Oh, I had this one too. This is Cosmic Purple Carrot. It's not purple. It's kind of a denim-y blue color. This would be beautiful. I think they all would be beautiful. You want what she's recommending. Is that both? Okay. What she's recommending is using a tonal, a solid, or semi-solid yarn, because there is some patterning in it, and with a highly variegated yarn, you're going to lose that. So this one is, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Tuja, but it's T-H-U-J-A. It's black. It's black. Then they're natural. Look, it's got a little picture of a sheep on there. That's the undyed. So it's not a white. It's a natural white. If you've seen Malabrigo's, I think they just call it natural. It's the same color. It's not a pure white. Pure white is a dyed yarn. The last one is polyester, and it's kind of a pale, what would you call that? Beige? Bone. Deb says bone, that's good. It's not white. Here's the two next to each other. So you can see it's got a little bit of a brown tone to it. The natural isn't going to have any color variation in it. As soon as you get into something even as light as this, you are going to get a little bit of color variation because they're hand-dyed yarns, but that's what makes them beautiful. So, sheep colored, Tammy says. Stephanie, I know that carrot. I love purple carrots. I love rainbow carrots. I like to eat the rainbow of foods. That sounded weird. Or Skittles. Okay, so that's the primary yarn we're going to use for this. An alternate yarn would be, whoop, I'm stuck, there we go. The Fiber Company's Luma. This is one that we recommended for last year's sweater too, for the soundtrack. Oh, Lisa, I was answering your question before I even saw that you asked it. Lee, sorry I'm late. My granddaughter called. Well, that's okay. Granddaughters take precedence. So the alternate yarn would be Luma. This is 50% wool, 25% cotton, 15% linen, 10% silk. These come in 50 gram skeins and they're 137 yards. Pricing is going to be a little bit different. These are $11.50 a skein. So for, I can't math that fast, you guys, but comparable 100 grams of this, which would be 2 of these, would be 274 yards. And then you'd be looking at $25. So it's not a big difference between the two. But if you want more of a solid that's not a hand-dyed, these are really, really beautiful. Alternates beyond that we have here in the shop, Cascade 220 Superwash Merino would work really well, and those are 220 yards for a 100 gram skein, and those are $12.50. What Deb's using for her, what's the name of that? Her Puget Sound sweater that she's working on is Malabrigo Arroyo, which would also work, and that would be a hand-dyed. The difficulty with that, actually both the 220 Superwash Merino and the Arroyo is, as with a lot of yarns, I don't know what I can get. Everything is kind of bottlenecked along the way. Lee, what was the original yarn I suggested? So what I suggested and what I'm using is Earth, their Harvest DK, which is natural dyed. So that's the color that I'm doing. What did I do with my swatch? It's buried. There we are. So there's my swatch. And even in this, you can see a little bit of color variation in there, which I love. That's what I love about hand-dyed. It's not going to be a solid. But it's so, you see how squishy it is? I love it. So that's what I'm recommending for the original, or well, for what my sample would be, is the Harvest DK by Earth. Anywhere from 4 to 8 skeins of that is what you would need, depending on your size. If you go to, let me see if I can post a link to it too. If you go right to Olive Knit's website, let me see how good I am with pulling things up here. If you go right to her website, she's got all of this information down, and I believe I can put that out to you also. If I post a photo of the pictures of the yarn, I can give you this information so you don't feel like you have to write it all down. I don't know how much on this I can show you guys, because it does say secret, not for everybody's eyes. Most of the things, though, are things that she has said that we can talk about. Bust measurements we talked about. Because she doesn't give you sizes per se, but she gives you a schematic of what the sweater is going to look like and measurements along the way, which really helps you be able to decide what size sweater you want to make. And the benefit of doing a top down is If you want it longer, you can make it longer. If you need it shorter, you can make it shorter. Same thing with the sleeve length. It's easily modified. Just remember that's going to change the amount of yarn that you use too. Yeah, my other computer decided it's not going to do anything. I don't know. Apparently, if I type that in, it downloads a playlist of some sort. Bonnie, did I add beads? I did. So, there are optional baubles in there, and before I had to frog mine and figure out what I was going to do with the different dye lots, I had done the baubles, and I know people love them. I just am not one of those people. So I did put beads in. I love how it looks, and now that you know with the fireworks theme, I think it's going to work really, really well. One moment, I'm trying to look on the computer and see if I can, haha, here we go. Copy, paste. There we go. So that link hopefully will pop up in a second, and that is directly to her website. And she's got all of the details about the knit along. You can also see on there past sweater knit alongs that she's done. Diane, no baubles for me. I do know people that crochet their baubles in their knitting instead of doing the traditional knitting because you have to keep turning back and forth. I have the benefit of having taught myself how to knit backwards, so I don't have to turn my work so much. I just work back and forth across those stitches. It's still fussy. No matter what, it's fussy. But baubles seem to be really in right now. So if you love baubles, I will encourage you to make the baubles. Okay. Let me know, as I move on to other things here, let me know if you have other questions about the knit along, and I will answer everything that I can. Like I said, she does recommend 2 inches of positive ease, so you would pick the size larger than your actual bust measurements. So I'm doing a size 2, which is a 36.75 finished. I was debating between that and the next size. However, the next size is a 43, which is a pretty big jump, and I didn't want it that oversized. I feel like I'm always going to err on the side of a little bit smaller because I can block the heck out of a sweater and make it a little bit drapier. I might have to block it more frequently, but it's a lot easier to block something bigger than it is to block it smaller, unless you want to try and partially felt it, which is a dangerous path to take. Unless you're my mom. She washed my dad's vest that I made him for Christmas, and because it was a little bit long on him, and it came out perfectly. What's the difference between a bobble and a nut? Stephanie, that's a very good question. I don't know. I want to say I think a nup is when you're drawing up multiple strands and then knitting them together. So it's still worked in, it's worked in one row, well, 2 rows. So you're drawing up all the extra stitches in one and then knitting or purling them together. So they make these elongated, puffy looking things. Bobbles are going back and forth, but Deb is Googling it as we, as I talk. So I may not know what I'm talking about at all. It's very popular. But if I say it with authority, you believe me, right? Okay, so that's everything about the fireworks. If you have questions, if you want to order yarn, any of the colors of the Harvest DK that I showed you, Earth keeps all of those in stock. They ship really quickly, and they can ship by the skein or by the bag. So we don't have to order more than you need. We can order what you need and make sure that you get it all at once. Did you find anything?
Yes, it's a delicate bottle. It's worked over 1 stitch, and it's from Estonia. And it's just a little petite bottle.
Oh, apparently nups are little baby bubbles. It's a petite. Carrie, I'm sold on bobbles versus nubs. Good. Just don't quote me on it. Okay, yeah. So nups are not as fussy, it looks like. They're kind of just, you'll see stitches drawn over versus little layers of stitches. My plan really was to put beads on the front of the yoke and bobbles on the back, but I got through that section and realized I didn't do that. So I may knit up another swatch and just to be able to show it off, because I have nothing in the shop that has bobbles or nups. All right, so Stephanie, you sound like you know, so that works. Perfect. So one of the things that I keep talking about, and there's a reason, is the papillon, the butterfly sweater. After I talked about it last week and I showed you guys the two different versions between the black and the white, which are, let's see if I can aim it that way so you guys can see them. They're kind of tough to see up there, but if you remember last week, I held up the two, the black, the sweater with, or the shawl, both used this colorway of earth yarn. One had black as its contrast color, one had white as it, or like a pale yellow as its contrast color. And Deb generously brought in her butterfly papillon. Her main color is the same color as the other two, you guys. How cool is that? But with a teal. So something like that. If you wanted to go with a hand-dyed, like she did, so you get a little bit of the variation. Or, I've talked about this before, the Heritage, Cascade Heritage solids work really well too and make your project a little bit more affordable. But I'm gonna hold it up again because I think it looks so cool. And this is one where I even get stuck in the trap of not being able to visualize necessarily what other colors are gonna look like. So this is a great example. You still see the change. Isn't it beautiful? So she's offered that I can put it on display for a little bit. Yes. I'm verifying that I can put it on display with the other two, so people really have a good idea of different looks, and that you're not locked into anything. It's your project. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want bright pink, you can do bright pink in there. And obviously your main color yarn doesn't have to be that bright color either, but that's just the one we happen to have, and it's the most popular one. Is that Heritage? No, actually Diane, she used, did you? They both were unique? Okay. The solid, the teal, was Unique's, so it's the same, oh, they don't have that color in this, wait. This same Harvest, no, it's not, is it? No, it was the, ooh, I actually have a skein. It's amazing what I can find around the store. So this is what she used as her contrast color. Unique fingering, monochrome. So you get variation in there, and if you knit monochrome as just one piece, like if you knit a tube with it, it's going to kind of do a wave of lighter and darker colors. But because you only see little bits at a time, you don't see that defined difference. Diane, I need that. You do. I only have one skein of this monochrome in this color in stock. I don't remember. We went through a bunch of it and I don't remember why, but isn't it gorgeous? If you wanted something with less variation, Dreaming Colors, Smooshy with Cashmere works well. A little bit tonal, and then, like I said, the Heritage Solids. I say that in such a sad tone. It's not. They're all great. But you can see the hand-dyeds are just more vibrant. Okay. Diane, I know you love your unique yarns. They are fantastic. So I just wanted to mention that. I know I keep talking about the butterfly shawl, but it has been really popular lately, and I just want to make sure that I give people as much information as I can about it. So that's what I'm working on. I didn't finish anything. Well, a couple things I need to talk about. On the line of knitting, Karen mentioned to me that it was a little bit frustrating that when I post or Melissa posts links to Ravelry for patterns on Facebook, it puts you in there as a guest instead of logging you into your Ravelry account. The reason it does that is because it's opening a browser within Facebook, and so that doesn't have all of your login information. There is a way, and I think it's different between Apple and Android, but if you have an Apple phone, iPhone, when you click on, let's say, one of the, like this, the Sienna sweater that I posted in the comments, if you click on that, Facebook's going to open what looks like a web browser, but it's still part of the Facebook app. You're still within the Facebook app. There should be like 3 little dots or a little box with an arrow, but there should be an option to allow you to open it in your browser. It's frustrating to me sometimes even, and there's no way to change those settings, I don't think, unless you really, unless you stay logged in to that, but I don't think you can. Mine opens in my Ravelry account. Oh, okay. So, maybe I've just never logged in through the Ravelry way. I'll have to play around with that a little bit. But if that's your frustration, I know a lot of people don't remember their Ravelry login. If you're able to find a little function that says open in my browser, whether it's Safari on your iPhone or Chrome on your Google Pixel, your Android, there should be a way to then open it and go from there. I think probably I've gotten too lazy. Tammy, yours too. Which one? That it has you logged in or it doesn't have you logged in? It's very possible that I have just never logged in to my Ravelry account through Facebook. I normally just tell it to pop out into its own browser. The other part of that, though, then opening it in your browser versus within the Facebook app, if you're on your phone, is you can't do anything else within Facebook without closing out that browser. So if you want to go back and look at that pattern later, you have to go back into Facebook, find it, unless you've already favorited it or added it to your Rav library. I'm one of those people that has 5 million notifications on my phone and 75 tabs open in my browser. So that's what I tend to do. I just open a browser and then I remember I need to look back at it later every once in a while. Scroll through. Diane, iPhone, I have a Ravelry screen open in Safari. Yes. Yeah. Logged in. Well, I'll have to play around with that a little bit. But for those of you where it doesn't log you in right away, that's your option. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is MDHHS, CDC, MIOSHA. How many other words can I say that are about the mask mandates or the guidelines? And things are still kind of not solidified. Maybe by Wednesday they will be. I know the CDC came out last week and said that they're no longer recommending that people who are fully vaccinated 2 weeks past their second vaccine, they're no longer recommending that they wear masks inside or out or have to social distance. I've given some thought on this, and I'm still going to play around with it a little bit, but I've had people right away ask if we're going to put more chairs around the table, if we're going to do open knitting again. That's a lot to do all at once, to have people feel the freedom to take their masks off and then come in and sit down and be that close to other people. currently what I am asking is if you come into the shop that you respect the wishes of whoever's working. If I'm here and we've spoken about it and it's pretty quiet in here, that's then you can take your mask off. I'm not going to force anybody to wear a mask. I just kind of want to take it a little slow on that. If you need help with something and you need to sit at the table for any length of time and either get help from me or Karen or Deb, we will ask that you wear your mask, especially with Karen, because she's unable to get the vaccine, so we want to keep her around as long as possible. I also don't know what the guidelines or what the building SVRC has put into place, and as of right now, MIOSHA, which is the Occupational Safe and Health and Safety something. Anyways, MIOSHA is the group that tells businesses what they need to do in order to keep their employees safe. Currently, MIOSHA says that masks are still required, whether you've been vaccinated or not. So most likely you will see us in here as employees or owner wearing masks. Again, I'm not sure what SVRC has decided to do for the whole market, but that's kind of where I am right now. I'm still trying to work out what we're going to do about the table and open knitting. What I can say is that more and more knitters have come in and been able to arrange meeting up and knitting other places within the marketplace. So this marketplace has a front lobby with really comfortable seating and lots of big windows, which is great if you're knitting on dark yarn, where people can sit and chat. There's the atrium, which most people call the food court, because that's kind of what it looks like, but it's big and open, has lots of tables and chairs. Frequently, if you come in, you'll see Patty out there and maybe a few others knitting or crocheting. Upstairs, even overlooking the atrium, there are a few tables and chairs. So there are great places to knit around here if you want to be close to the shop. Still have access to us if you get stuck on something. And I think probably what we will do is start kind of setting specific times for that, because I know if it's just open to everybody all the time, nobody knows when to come. And I know a lot of people miss seeing each other. I miss seeing everybody. I miss having a table full. But as things open up, I want to make sure that it's not too much too fast. Kathy, as people go back to work, social distancing is still in place. Yes. For people in their residences, it's not required, but according to MIOSHA, there is still the guideline that if you are within 6 feet of someone else, that you have to have a mask on. Are there other? That's kind of the main guideline right now. There's a lot of difference, and I think what I'm hearing is in the next day or so, things are going to be changing a bit. Last week, one of the small business briefings that I watch, they were kind of saying, expect this next week to be similar to how things were changing very quickly last April. So it seemed like we went through this phase where every day we were getting different rules from different people because things were changing so quickly. And I think we're kind of on the other end of that, where things are changing quickly. But I do think, I have faith in the CDC, and I have faith that they've been studying this for a long time, and I imagine they have been fairly confident in these numbers for a few months now, but they waited. And now they have not just their sample to go from, but actual numbers from the US and from around the world to see how likely it is that if you've been vaccinated, you will actually contract COVID or pass it on. And if they're saying that likelihood is 99 point something %. That's pretty darn good. So that's kind of where we are right now. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to call the shop or message the shop through Facebook, and I will answer any that I can. As things change, you may see them changing in the shop, in the marketplace, but as of right now, the marketplace does still have signs on the doors requiring or requesting that you wear masks when you come in. I think, let me look at my notes. I have like 5 different notes here. More things I'm going to talk about next week. Oh, so one more thing about the Ravelry, about the butterfly. I had a customer come in last week with Holly. Well, Holly's friend came in, and she was carrying a catalog from an online / catalog yarn company, and had a picture of the butterfly shawl in there, the papillon, with kits. And I wasn't surprised they had the kits. What I was surprised about was that they were charging $99 for the kit, and they said you get 1 skein of each yarn. Everything that I've read, every knitter that I've talked to that has made this says you go into the 2nd skein of your main color, which is this. So if you bought the 3 skeins that you would need, the 2 self-striping and then a tonal, or what, did you put it away already? But if you bought the yarn that they recommend, actually for the pattern, the unique, all 3 skeins would be $26.50 times 3, $80. Trying to do quick math in my head, and I'm not good at it. $25.50, $75. If you bought the 3 skeins of yarn, it would be around $78 or $79. If you bought the pattern, it would be around 80 something. It's a $14 pattern, so 82 or 83. Either way, cheaper than what they're selling it for in the magazine, and you get the benefit of coming into the shop, seeing the yarns in person, or in some people's case, talking to us over the phone or via messenger. You get to see real true colors, what it's gonna look like. If you need help on anything, you know where you can come for help. If you have any questions just about how the pattern's written, because it is a little bit different the way it's written. The benefit of buying from a small shop like us is that you know that we are here as a resource for you. You're not just buying something, walking out the door, and that's it. If you want more help, we are here for you. As Holly, that's why we come to you. Steer us right. Yes. I appreciate it. It helps me stay in business and keep everybody wrapped in fiber, I guess you could say. And as things opened up a little bit in terms of coming in and getting help with things, as things open up a little bit, we'll start talking about drop-in help classes for seeing Deb in the evenings. We're still trying to work out dates, how that's going to happen. Hopefully we can start beginning knitting classes back up fairly soon, because I've had a lot of inquiries about that. And like I said, the table rules are staying the way they are for right now. It's primarily just Deb and Karen sitting here, or me and Karen sitting here. We do have a 3rd chair for if people need help with a project. And that's how it's going to be for a little bit, I think. But we'll keep you in the loop for sure. Holly, we love the colors picked. Looks so pretty out in the sunlight. Yes, I know. That's what's hard about not having any windows, is I don't have natural light. I try with my lights as much as I can, but you guys know, if you've been in here, there are some dark spots and there are some light spots. We just kind of have to wander around. Diane. All right, definitely. I can set those aside for you. We'll chat on Wednesday. All right, I think I think that's all I have for tonight, you guys. I rambled on a bit. I went a little longer than normal, so I apologize about that. And I still didn't get everything on my list, but that means there's more to talk about next week. There might be an unboxing. There might be a different sweater in the works that I could show you guys. Maybe. I'm not committing to that because I haven't cast it on yet, but I think I can make that happen in the next week. All right, I hope everybody has a great week. I hope you had a great weekend. The weather looks like it's going to be fantastic. So spend your days in the sun, spend your evenings sitting and knitting, or knit out in the sun. That's what I do. As you'll see me as the summer goes on, I'll get a little bit tanner because I'm outside. But enjoy. I hope you got some good info. As always, reach out to me with any questions, email, through Facebook, call the shop. The shop number is 989-274-8571. I think. It sounds right. You guys know. You can Google it. It's on the website too. All right. Have a great night, and I will see you all next week. Bye.